So for some odd reason, I can't find that sheet to take notes and put on for the person. I used to take hardcore notes, but yeah.
I have the Google Doc open, so I can take the notes in that.
Okay. Did she forget? I mean,
No, I mean she still has time. Not 7 yet.
what am I looking for? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm still work in the meantime. So what's been new? I haven't heard from you lately. Last time I heard from you, just talking on the council call.
Um, I mean, honestly, that's a lot of what's been new is all the council stuff I've been working on. But I don't know. Work is work. Improv is still improv.
Understand?
Getting ready for my trip.
Ooh. Aren't you going to Australia, right?
Yep, I'm actually going to New Zealand first, and then I'm going to Australia after that.
Oh shit! I guess I do need to pull that up too. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
um, I need to pull. I need to reread something really fast. You look different today.
I got a haircut an hour ago.
Okay, I was gonna say haircut, but I didn't want to seem like I was like, what?
It is 7. Hopefully she pops in soon. Hi, Andrea. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Hey.
Wonderful. Hope you've been having a wonderful Friday so far.
Yeah, it's been good.
Good, good. So my name is Austin. I am one of the current council members,
And my name is Casey. Currently one of the newer members. I'm from Arkansas, currently Jersey.
and I am in Indianapolis. So, just a couple quick things before we get going. First off, we are going to record this video so the rest of the council can also see it. So, are you okay with that? I believe you were.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. And then just to make sure we are being fair to everyone we're interviewing, we're going to try and keep it to a firm 30 minutes so we don't go over or under on anyone else. So.
Okay.
All right. So just a little breakdown of the council itself. We were founded in 2015. It's been about 3.5 years now that we've been up and running. So the first year was the whole write your bylaws, make your mission and vision statements, all that fun stuff you get to do when you first start something up. But since then, we've had a lot going on. We came up with the ARCs, the Alumni Relations Coordinators, which you are probably familiar with. At least I hope you're familiar with. Because we wanted to establish a person in each affiliate to help handle alumni relations and make sure that alumni had access to resources in their home affiliates. We have also created an alumni toolkit, designed to kind of guide each affiliate on how to best reach out to their alumni, things they can do to engage them, things they can do to find them. And then, of course, we've come up with several social media pages. We have a LinkedIn page now to try and help alumni connect. So once we got the initial pieces out of the way, we were able to start really, getting into a lot of stuff. So the council consists of 12 alumni from, various affiliates. Right now, there's only one affiliate that has more than one alumni council member representing it. It does happen to be Indiana, so little bias maybe, but. And just as a reminder, we will need you to send us a bio and a picture of yourself for the big public vote or announcement. So make sure that gets sent in by November 26th.
Okay.
All right. So I believe that's all the logistical stuff out of the way. So Casey, if you want to jump into the first question, go for it.
Sure. So, can you tell us about yourself, in regards to both your DI experience and your life outside of DI?
Sure. I'm just turning you up a little. But yeah, sure. So I guess my life outside of DI, I'll just start with that because it's probably shorter. I have a 3-year-old and 7-year-old sons, and we live in Portland, Oregon. I currently work at an academic medical center here as an alliance manager. So it's kind of like a business development role. And I work for the Cancer Institute here at OHSU. So pretty much I do a lot of project management and communication in helping our researchers do like collaborative research projects with outside companies. So I work with a lot of startup scale biotech companies, a lot of med tech, research technology, early stage companies that want to get their product into researchers' hands and get evidence off it. So I'm trained. I have a PhD in molecular and structural biology, and I used to work in a biotech startup myself, but I've moved on a little bit now and do a lot more sort of project management and communication, organization kind of stuff, which I think could be really great in sort of coming to a role like this, where we're talking about sort of long-term visions of things that we want to create, and people are kind of spread out, and it's a lot of sort of coordination and communication among everyone. For creative problem solving, so I started back in Odyssey of the Mind when I was in like 6th grade. So it's been, I've probably been doing it for longer than maybe both of you have been alive. I'm just going to take a guess. I had a really consistent team all through like junior high and high school. And so we're really just the best of friends and had super great experiences, as I'm sure you guys are both sort of comfortable with your past teammates. We usually did like vehicle challenge or the other sort of technical challenge. I only competed in, it was only called DI for like one of the years that I was competing. The very last, I did it in university for 1 year. You know, we had a lot of really great success and learned a lot of awesome stuff, and really just, I feel like it, you know, you guys know, it gives you the opportunity to hone all sorts of skills that aren't really valued in school or aren't emphasized in school. And, you know, we've taken that forward into the professional world and in our lives. And I've just seen my teammates go to such amazing places and do really great creative things. And so I'm just excited to continue to give back to the program, so that more kids can have that opportunity. So since I stopped competing, or even sometimes overlapping when I was in college, I would go back and appraise. So I've been an appraiser most of the time in instant challenge. That's pretty much what I've done ever since I started volunteering. I've appraised in, you know, Minnesota and Iowa when I was there, and then I moved to California, and I was a regional and affiliate challenge master for instant challenge in California for like 10 years. And then now I'm in Oregon for the past 3, and I'm doing, again, regional and affiliate challenge master for instant challenge here. So I've seen a lot of different affiliates and kind of how they run things. You know, California was huge, and every region there was really like the whole affiliate here in Oregon. So it's, you know, it's kind of, it's interesting to see how things run in different places and sort of how that might influence things like the ARC's role and how that can function best in different affiliates.
Absolutely, I agree with you there. Different affiliates run things in very different ways, so that's always good experience to have. So why does the Alumni Council make sense as the next step on your DI journey?
Right. You know, it's funny. I feel like I'm kind of getting to this point in my life where I have the freedom to really think about what I want to spend my time doing. And I'm just super excited about giving back to all sorts of different nonprofit programs that involve children. Like, I'm just really excited to have more kids get the opportunity to do the things that we do, and seeing, you know, kind of really the struggle to run an entirely volunteer run organization, at least that we're all volunteers. You know, seeing kind of the struggle that is, and thinking about how many alumni are really out there now, and how I think jazzed so many of them would be to be back involved with the program, volunteering, giving time. And so I really just think there's so much potential there, and would love to be involved in bringing more of those alumni back to the program and getting them to work in so many of the important volunteer roles that we really need to keep this program going.
Okay, that's really, really good. Such a broad broad background. So in your application, you talked about a couple key ideas, a couple of new things that you were wanting to implement if you were on the council. Can you tell us how you would go about developing those ideas that you mentioned to us?
Can you remind me what I wrote? Because I actually don't have a copy of what I put into the web form. I meant to ask like Chandler if he could send it to me, but I forgot.
Sure. So you had mentioned that you've talked to people before, and they've said, "Oh, that sounds like something I did in school." And then you'll say Odyssey of the Mind, and you know, essentially finding a way to connect those so people understand it's actually the same thing.
Right? Yeah, I find a lot of people, like the parents that we talk to at events where they've brought their kids to check out DI, they don't realize, like, maybe they only did it for a year or two and they didn't stay super involved. And so they're just not aware what happened with Odyssey of the Mind and Destination Imagination. So that would be really great, I think, to kind of tie those together a little more. I know the alumni website mentions Odyssey of the Mind alumni as well, but I know that could maybe be a little bit political. So I don't really know what DI's whole stance is on how we would go about that. But I feel like there's got to be a way to, you know, sort of tactfully go after Odyssey of the Mind alumni and sort of bring them up to date with Destination Imagination and kind of how it's the same program, even though Odyssey of the Mind still exists in some states.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you had any like concrete thoughts about how you want to do something like that?
Um, not not super concrete so far, but I mean, I feel like social media is kind of definitely the way to get in touch with people these days, regardless of kind of their age or where they're at. So it would really probably also have to come down to the affiliates and how they best get in touch with folks. I mean, some of them are really integrated through school systems, like major school systems. And so there could be some just like print advertising. I think it would just be good if we could work with like DIHQ or whomever would be required to sort of get the right messaging out there that, Odyssey of the Mind is destination imagination. Again, even though there is still Odyssey of the Mind in some places. So I guess that's the sticky part.
Sure. Yeah, and yeah, that's definitely a sticky part since they do exist still and still have a few strongholds here and there. But
yeah.
All right. So, have you had other additional ideas that you would be interested in sharing about how we could improve the alumni experience or promote alumni engagement?
I've thought a lot about sort of the alumni experience and like, what does that mean? I think it's great to have alumni become involved more with volunteering with the program. I mean, that's super important. Again, we're like all volunteer run, and at least in Oregon right now, we're really in kind of a tough spot and could use a lot more sort of new blood into the program to help run things. But I've also thought about, I hate to use this word because for some people it rubs them funny, but thinking about sort of the fraternal organization that could be DI alumni, right? Like we all have kind of this shared experience and thing that we've been through, and I feel like it gives us all like a great common starting point when it comes to professional networking and maybe like mentoring programs and stuff. I think it would be really great to develop a more structured program sort of in that area. And I know you mentioned that you have a LinkedIn now that's live, and I had seen that was one of the goals for this program year, which I think is great. So it'd be really great to sort of take that to, just continue in that realm and maybe take it to new levels with mentoring programs and stuff. I keep thinking that there's alumni out there now who are like my age and older who are doing great things in their professional lives. And so they're in a position to have jobs and internships and corporate charitable giving, philanthropy. They have all of these things at their fingertips. And so it would be great to have some sort of program to sort of reach out to them and pull the network in sort of that more professional way.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with you on that. Just creating a better network, just to pull in that type of way. Because even some states we struggle at times with things like that. So this next question. Can you tell us about a time you worked in a small group or a committee? And then can you tell us like what's important when leading a committee and when following a leader in a committee?
Sure. So I think, when leading a committee, I think it's really, I guess, the way I would go about it and what I think is important to me is having a shared sort of mission and vision or set of concrete goals for what you're trying to do. Because then even when you're spread out or, there's not a lot of physical overlap in working together, you kind of all know how to make decisions that benefit the big picture. So having a very clear image of what the big picture is and making sure everyone has had a chance to contribute and provide, and have a chance to buy in on what that overarching goal is, I think would probably be the best way to sort of set into leading a committee. Then, taking advantage of technology and sort of Zoom calls and this Google Hangouts and Google Docs and all the sort of collaborative ways that we have to work together, even when we're not together, I think is fantastic. In terms of, being on a committee and following a leader of a committee, again, for me, it's kind of the same. If the purpose and desire of the committee is well understood, then I think it's easy for everyone to sort of serve that in their own way and know that if they're making decisions or sort of working on their own prior to coming back to the committee, that they're sort of working in the right direction and won't be duplicating or wasting effort or anything.
absolutely. Sorry, I'm also taking notes as we do this, so take me a second to get back to it. Um, so, could you just kind of briefly explain why you're the best candidate for the council?
So I hate to keep bringing this up, but I feel like with a little bit more like, let's call it experience under my belt than some of the current council members, I'm quite a bit older than all of you. I feel like that really provides me with a lot of perspective and experience in working with diverse groups of people, both in sort of the startup world where everything's fast paced and changes directions rapidly and you got to adapt to survive, and it's kind of cutting edge. And then also now I've been 3 years in an academic medical center where honestly nothing ever changes. There's a lot of bureaucracy and you really have to step carefully and know exactly what your sphere of influence is and how to use that. So I feel like that gives me a lot of flexibility in terms of working with groups and sort of trying to influence
Andrea?
I've seen a lot of things done well in different affiliates, and I've seen some things done poorly in different affiliates. And so, I bring kind of maybe a broad background to approaching something like this and thinking about the different ways that alumni might be tappable in different affiliates, or, best organized in different settings and stuff.
Okay, okay, I'm following right along with you. So before we keep going with your interview, I want to explain a couple things, or we want to explain a couple things to you. So the council is basically, you out of the month you have about 5 hours of like council calls collectively throughout the month, and that's partially because we're broken up into two committees, and then we also do a collective council call throughout the month. And also in lieu of that, also it's a 4-year term if you're selected onto the council, which means it's 5 trips total that you'll end up going to globals. So how does our time fit into your schedule, or is that going to affect you with your current rate of how you handle your time?
No, that sounds perfect, actually. I work part-time right now, and the kids are, doing their thing in daycare and school. And so I've got plenty of time. And like I said, I'm kind of at a place in life where I get to I have the privilege to kind of choose what I want to do with my time. And this is definitely something I'm passionate about.
Okay. Also, I forgot to mention, just know hours may increase the closer we get to globals.
Sure.
It'll still be the regular meetings, the regular times, whatever. But in lieu of in preparation for globals, we may have to have an extra meeting here or there. But if that's not conflict, I just want to make sure that you knew that also.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we do have some time left. What questions do you have for us? What would you like to know more about the council? What can we explain for you? Anything that's been burning in the back of your mind that you just want to know now?
Sure. I was wondering, what's the relationship like with DIHQ?
All right. So we are a council that is technically separate from HQ itself. We operate on our own. We do our own thing, but we do work in conjunction with HQ.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be multiple things. For example, if we have certain postings that we want to put not only on our social media, but like on official DI, programming as well. We'll work with them and their communications department, send it out via newsletter, or via their, official website, blogs, and things like that. We've worked with them before in terms of like, sales, fundraising. Last Globals, we had a line of alumni gear that we sold in the global shop. And so we worked with DI to, find affordable vendors and kind of purchase through them, so it's more official. But it was, kind of like a split on how we did the profits. They helped us, but then we also had some that came to us for our use and things like that. So nice. We operate independently. We make our own decisions, but we do work closely with HQ, and we are associated with them on a variety of things. And our executive board goes once a year now to HQ to actually have a meeting with them along with to make sure we're on the same page goals-wise, kind of like what you were saying earlier, making sure the message is the same, even though we're kind of focusing on different branches, if you will, of the organization.
Yeah, cool. Have you all talked about fundraising, and would you be able to do that specifically to the alumni group, or would it go to DI the whole?
Fundraising is an ongoing discussion that we've been having. The first couple of years, we were entirely reliant on HQ to basically fund everything. But we have been looking into ways to kind of get outside of that, have our own accounts, things that we can access easily. And so last year, that was kind of our first step towards that, was testing it out, seeing how well we could do with selling, specific merchandise and so forth. And obviously, this is not something that we're going to do with a bake sale or something like that. That's not going to work for this type of organization. But it is a discussion that we're having ongoing.
Okay.
If you have any experience in that realm, I'm sure we would be more than happy to hear about it. But yeah, it is something that we've kind of had to look into and are still looking into.
Okay. I mean, so something I was wondering about, maybe you guys are familiar with this, but a common thread that I've heard in some different states that I've volunteered in is that people who've been around DI for a long time can kind of be a little bit cliquey, or like sort of kind of know-it-all-ish, and not just alumni, but even longtime adult volunteers. And I feel like it's like a little bit of a put off to new volunteers sometimes to try to get engaged with an organization that in a lot of states has like a small group of people who've been doing it for a super, super long time. And, one thing that I've seen with alumni in this way is like they tend to, as appraisers, appraise really hard, right? They give pretty low scores because they're like, I could do this. I've done this before. And, the first time volunteers are like, this is amazing. How can kids do this? So I wonder if you've thought about sort of like this in terms of how you brand the Alumni Association or the images. Like, do you talk to the ARCs about anything like this, or I don't know?
So, so what we try to do is, so the cliquish look has not been like a great big issue, or like but the image of how we want to project the alumni council has been the thing that they and we as a council continually work on. So that's why we've opened up our doors within this past year with ARCs, RDs, and ADs to try to establish better relationships, even with the board of directors at HQ, just so we can so they can better understand that we're not like this super snobby entity or something like that. Just trying to break down more walls to connect. So like with the webinars, the emails, the open live chats that we recently did when they went to HQ, and you could openly ask questions. It's just all those type of things. Or even like now when we say, even when this call is over, and we would say, hey, Andrea, if you have any questions, feel free to email the Alumni Council or myself or Austin. That's slowly breaking down those doors, because the council as a whole, like Austin said, is still fresh. So they spent all this time trying to get it together. And then when we get to globals, that's the only time that we get to actually see one-on-one. And sometimes it looks like we're away from everybody.
Yeah.
And it's not like that. It's trying to break the projected image as compared to what the actuality is.
Yeah.
So it's steady throughout the year that we're working on to try to perfect.
Cool.
I would agree with you. There is, from time to time, places where you'll notice some veterans who definitely, know the ropes, or will tell you that they know the ropes. We are aware of that. There was actually a previous effort to start an alumni council similar to this.
Oh.
It was actually, it fell apart within a couple of years because it did become an old boys club. It was a bunch of alumni that already knew each other. They'd been going to the same events for years and years, and so they started up the council, but then they never brought in fresh blood. It was just the same people over and over again. So that is something that we as a council are very cognizant of, and that's why we have established in our bylaws to make sure we keep rotating people out, bringing new people in, because we don't want that to happen again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that being part of the reason behind the. I saw that statement in the newsletter. Cool. And I guess I was thinking about your ARCs, and so we have one here in Oregon, and I don't know. I've never been contacted by this person, um, so I don't. I guess I was wondering about. I think it's great to increase the number, right? Get more representation, more affiliates with these ARCs positions in them. But I wonder about maybe sort of expanding their role beyond sort of a welcome wagon, or how you envision them really playing a more active role with the alumni and the various affiliates, especially if we're starting to talk about maybe like professional or networking events, or, you know, kind of something like that. And then I was also thinking about, like, in California. So I was down in San Diego, and I mean, it's a totally different affiliate, honestly, in the Bay Area. Like even LA. Like, so there's some states, and I assume it's probably similar in Texas or some of the other big states, where the regions are really the equivalent of affiliates. So I wondered if it might, you know, if you've thought about in some of the bigger programs, affiliates having multiple of these, where either distance or just team number, people number, whatever, might sort of make it useful to have more than one ARC in an affiliate.
Well, there is no actual limit on ARCs.
Mm.
For any affiliate, they can have as many ARCs as they want to. I know like Indiana and some other places, I think they have more than one ARC actually. So of how they want to implement that, and the ARC's role is as big as that state wants to make it, or that affiliate. Because all we do is give them a toolkit, give them a guideline, show them, hey, this is what our intent is. We don't know what you're capable to do, but whatever help you need, we're willing to help you expand that role. So after we reach out, after we provide you with the tools to get started, you can take that and that into however you want to, because some ARCs cross over as RDs and implement those tools together. Some are just a relation to the alumni. Some ARCs actually communicate with other alumni in other states to build better bridges. So, it's kind of how you want to deeper define the role as an ARC in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that being said, we do provide support to the ARCs. Because originally when we first formed the council, there was a lot of push that, the council should just answer all the alumni issues in every affiliate. Like, okay, there are 12 of us. That is not going to work. So the ARC position came about as our way of mediating between them. And so we do support the ARCs. We actually have monthly calls where the ARCs can join council members and discuss ongoing ideas about how to get more alumni involved, or how to find new alumni in their affiliate areas to volunteer. And recently, there have been a couple of our meetups. I don't know if you saw any postings about them, but in a couple different affiliates, the ARCs actually arranged a meetup at like a bowling alley or something like that, where local alumni could all come, meet each other, get to know each other. And so those are in the early stages. The first couple of those have just been happening in the past few months. But we're hoping to push more things like that as well to, kind of like you said, help network, facilitate the connections between the two. But like Casey said, we provide that toolkit to the ARC. With a lot of good information as to how to reach out to alumni. And then from there, if they have questions, they can ask us. They always can access us, and we're happy to work with them. But per affiliate, again, the 12 of us as a council cannot cover every single one, which is why we're trying to get more ARCs in place who can hopefully have that and work in their affiliates on those projects.
Yeah. Cool. Oh. Did he leave? Oh.
I'm still here. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Everyone. Oh, cameras are going. Fritzy, you guys are both. Oh, there you're back.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was like the half hour was up and it just like.
Yeah, we are close to time though. Did you have any other questions? Anything further we can explain for you?
No, I think that's really good. It's been nice to talk to both of you today.
Sure, you as well. We're happy you could join us.
Yeah.
I enjoyed you thoroughly.
So we are, still in the process of interviewing all of our current candidates, and then from there, once we have bios and photos, we'll go on to the next level of the voting process. So expect further emails from us soon, and we'll keep in contact. But until then, have a wonderful weekend.
Great. Thank you so much. Both of you as well. Have a great weekend and a happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks. You too.
Right.
Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.